Hi and welcome everyone to episode 5 of IWWOF Talks Business With. First, I will tell you a little bit about International Working Women of Finland. We are an association born originally as a Facebook group in August 2019, and we currently have almost 5,000 members. And we aim to support all women in Finland, regardless if they are foreign or Finnish, into their journey of the working life. And more specifically about the IWWOF Talk, so it is an online webinar series in which each time we are meeting with a different company, and we want to hear about all the interesting activities and ambitions of these companies and their industries, and also we want to broaden our community horizon and give them access to business leaders that maybe in normal times they wouldn't have access to. Today we have very exciting topics. We are going to talk about cities of the future with a very strong sustainability twist. And together with my co-host Priyanka Banerjee, we are very happy to host Maija Jokela of Sweco and Rana Harb, also of Sweco. And they will introduce themselves in a minute and start telling us about the wonderful world of the cities of the future. Next week, as a sneak peek, we will have a topic about sustainability and innovation. So we are continuing the sustainability topic also next week. And this time we will talk with Olga of VTT, which is the biggest research center in Finland. But now I give the floor to Maija and first topic.
Great, thank you, Caroline. And thank you for handling the techniques and the slides. So I will give you some sort of tip when I want to have a next slide. But thank you. And first of all, thank you for the invitation. It's really nice to join your community and be able to share our thoughts. Thank you a lot. And maybe if I start by saying something what we are going to talk about today. Like Caroline, you said, we have sustainability on agenda, and also what it means to have the diversity and how cities should be planned and designed so that they are livable for all citizens in the cities. And then something about vacancies and tips for job hunting. But maybe if I start by, the name is hidden somewhere over there, but my name is Maija Jokela. I'm managing director of Sweco PM, and PM comes from the project management. My history is that I have studied construction economics in Helsinki University of Technology, that is currently known as the Aalto University, so in Espoo, and I'm Master of Science. And my history in Sweco actually has come up to 20 years, because I started as a trainee when I was studying in university, and I'm on that path. So I have done almost all the job that we have in Sweco PM. Started my first summer job was to be a substitute for the assistants. And I have a family. We live in Helsinki, one child, and I think it has been good balancing power in my life to have that small kid to taking my mind off the work. What else takes my mind off the work is spending time with the family. Traveling, unfortunately, of course, miss that a lot right now. But going jogging and gym, and I used to have a horse. That's not him, but I still have a love for animals. So maybe Rana, if you tell something about yourself.
Thank you,
too.
Maija. Thank you, Caroline and Priyanka for having us today for this nice talk. And first, my name is Rana Harb. I am originally a Palestinian, and I have been living in Finland since 15 years now. I'm married and I have 3 boys, as you see in the photo. They are my life. And currently I'm working at Sweco as a structural engineer, and I'm also an MBA candidate at Haga Helia. And I also make my master thesis for Sweco as well. So as you see, my time is fully booked with everything. If I have a little bit free time, I like to cook a lot. I think this is something I can say that I'm good at, and it helps me to de-stress, and makes my family happy as well. And I play a lot of badminton, but with Corona, it has gone. Like no more badminton since about a year, let's say. but instead I go for a daily jog and run every day. So it's also a good thing for de-stressing and getting rid of the corona weight as well. So, but I can say about myself, I'm a very social person. I like to talk a lot to people, know about other culture, open-minded as well. And I think sometimes I'm funny too, but not always. So yeah, that's as shortly as me. So I think next we need Maija to talk about Sweco as our employee. Yeah.
Good, thank you, Rana. I will shortly present you the Sweco also. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Sweco company, but we are the biggest construction engineering and architectural consultants company in Europe. That is our market. We don't usually operate that much in outside Europe, but in here we are big in this market. We have 17,000 employees, and my net sales is almost 2 billion euros yearly. And if we see the next slide, we can also see a bit more detailed the countries that we are based mostly. Biggest one being Sweden. Sweco has some sort of a hint on that. We are listed on a Stockholm stock exchange. And we, like I said, we all operate in Northern Europe mostly. And you also have some project, for example, in China. We have made some very large sustainable cities from the ground in China and has sort of the project export on that, but mostly we focus on Northern Europe. And if we look more closely at our Finnish map, and we operate in here in 27 cities. We have offices in 27 cities. We actually operate in quite many other cities also. And we have 2,500 employees. A number of assignments, the project that we are in is up to 10,000 right now. So we do quite a lot, and a lot of big, huge scale project, a construction project, design project, but also very small scale indoor climate expertise or something like that. Also really small project also. Most of our people are engineers, but not all. We have also persons like nurses who are working in a hospital projects or specialists. We just hired a consultant to do the weather forecasts and how it's going to be affecting designing future cities. So quite interesting. Yeah, I think that's really nice.
I would have never guessed that you have nurses, yes, or weather forecast specialists.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a good mix, and we need to do that more to add diversity in the employees. And what else in diversity? Yeah, you can go forward. That's good. Thank you. It's sorry, the text is a bit small, but the colors, I think they are showing what we need to see. Diversity between men and women in Sweco in Finland. There is orange color is males and blue color is female. So you can see that it's quite dominant from males. I think it's quite understandable if we think that it's still mostly construction business and it's dominated by males, I think quite a lot. But I think it's really nice to see that we still have in the employees, there is like 25-26% of employees are women. But in management team, we have quite good presentation. I'm of course one of those blue part of in here. But we are always trying to find and target and promote diversity to be able. I think it's really important to have the diversity when it comes to the gender or the background, because it helps the working team to see problems from different views, and I think it adds a lot. Also.
Is it also like the same pattern you see in other countries as well, like Sweco Finland or?
Yeah, there's a bit of a difference. I think in Sweden there are a lot more women in Sweco also. I think they are not, I don't say any numbers right now, but I know that they have more women in there. But then we come maybe UK or Belgium there, or German, they are in maybe a bit behind us on that topic. But maybe that's because of the history and the work family life balance. We are able to do it in Finland and Sweden quite well, but not in all countries we are in the same level on that. But it's I think it starts, if you look at the age gap or age distribution in Sweco, those blue parts are bigger if we look at the younger generations. So I think it's starting to change. But we need to, of course, encourage women or girls to study mathematics and go to the universities to study engineering to be able to change this. I think that's really important.
Yes, and I think that's one of our key messages today as well, that, you know, having two great examples like you guys who are actually female representations, but for the future to carry on, you need more girls in the university studying the engineering topics as well. So very good message.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's really nice. But we can go forward about the sustainability and cities and communities that we are designing in Sweco. And our sustainability goals are based on the UN goals. We can go to the next slide in here. There's something up there. That's okay. Don't worry about that, Caroline. We can go forward with this. But what I'm saying, we have based our sustainability initiatives and goals related to the UN sustainability goals. You can see here the 17 goals and 169 sub goals that they have, or targets that they have. And what we started doing in Sweco, we started a journey to find out what are we affecting most, what of the goals are most relevant for us. And we actually created a tool, Sustainable Sun, to be able to show that what kind of actions or designing we should do to be able to reach the goals and how we are affecting on those in our project. I think when we talk about sustainability and, for example, climate action, there is a lot to do in construction business, and all the real estates are using a lot of energy, and that's causing a lot of CO2 pollution in here. So this is really the place that we can be influencing what kind of future we do have. And in next slides, there are some examples also. What we did after looking into these sustainability goals, we decided to launch an initiative about this in Sweco, and we call it Urban Insights. And you can go look it in and Google it. You will find the Urban Insights websites, and you can read all the reports that has been published. It has been going on, like, I think 3 years now. A lot of different teams related to urban cities. Next year's team will be urban well-being and urban health. I'm not sure if it's still published, but you know it now. Don't tell anyone if it's not out. I'm not sure.
You're secret now.
yeah. But I'm really excited about that, because it also expands the team, the sustainability team, in the well-being, because we all live in cities, and I think a city should be a place to get more energy. And those are the kind of key things that we try to put in on designing. What were kind of city would promote safety and healthy. Also, of course, the mobility in a city is a big thing in the future. Maybe some pandemic. How do we get ready for those kind of things? So I think that's topic that's going to grow in the future. In Finland, we see that, for example, our customers, they don't usually ask, they don't have the set goals or targets, how would they want these sustainability issues to be addressed in their project. So I think it's really important that we will help them in those kind of issues.
Yes, maybe one question to you, Maija. So there is one concept that is discussed a lot when talking about the cities of the future is the concept that you have basically everything around you maximum 15 minutes, meaning the infrastructure, the hospitals, transport, school for the children, supermarkets, maybe even your work. So in that sense that we have those like 15-minute cities, and you have cities in cities. Which I find to be quite interesting concept actually. So do you have any reflection from your own perspective and of course Sweco's perspective on this kind of concepts and how you can bring in people who live in the city to develop those with you?
Yeah, I think we have had this topic in the talks, and if we look at Finland, for example, like in previous years, there has been a lot of topics about people moving back in the cities, and countryside will be empty. And now, as you know, this year there has been a lot of talks that it will change. The people will want to have nature around them, and they will have bigger apartments, maybe a different space to work and then living. But I don't believe in that. And luckily, I'm hoping that we will, for the sustainability point of view, I think we should live quite closely or quite high intensity cities. So this 15-minute idea, maybe it's not doable right now in the old city structures, but I think we are going into that direction. We can build a lot of new buildings or add some new floors on the current buildings, and I think we should allow also that in our legislation. I think that's quite strict in Finland. Okay. But I understand that that is the way that we should go to be able to provide that.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah. And we can all go to the next slide, I think. And what is the sustainability? I think this is a bit about the 15-minute city, but it's also, this is also the well-being, and to be able to have different kind, to fulfill your different needs quite close by where you are living. And of course, there are different energy solutions we can use in maybe the ground heat in Finland and things like that. But more of the people are expecting is what they see and what they have access in here. The place to go in a green site, to have parks and things, walking trails, for example, like in here. In Helsinki area, I think we have quite good public transportation, but I know that the situation in Finland, in other cities, they are not in that same level. So there is a lot of development also in that area, I would say. And I think Rana will have some quite interesting points about women in cities, in sustainable cities. Maybe we can go on that.
Yes, that's actually the missing part of the sustainability talk. You know, like whenever we talk about sustainability, the first thing that comes to mind is technology, like environmental issues, and also all these kind of innovations. And also these issues has gained a lot of attention, investments, and they are moving quite well actually. But the missing point is the people actually. What kind of a people that we want to see in these sustainable and future cities. And despite also the fact that the people also, they are the real measure of the success of these sustainable issues. Like if we have sustainable solutions and methods, but still, like if people don't use it or don't like it, it will be a failure actually. So from my point of view, I feel like, and I want the sustainability to be a people-centric. Like it's all about people, what do they need, and how it will solve their problems, fulfill their ambition and goals and stuff like this. So this is how the sustainability will be like a really fulfill our daily life issue. But if we just consider or concentrate on the technology, it will be like just principles. And maybe when the time comes to test it in reality, it will fail actually. So, and also from another point of view, as all we know, we are women, the half of the society. So if we are talking about people-centric technology, it's also about woman-centric. What do we really want from these sustainable cities? Honestly, I don't want to live in a sustainable or a future city where it's okay to abuse a woman, or where women are not equal to men in jobs, or in equal pay or whatever. So these kind of cities, I don't want to live in that. So the part is how we can make these cities woman-centric. Like if we go, Caroline, to the next slide, please. So here, if you can see like the main aspect or element in these future cities, that it should and it must provide an equal and safe equality and safety for women. This is like the main thing each one of us is looking for. Like we need to be equal in healthcare, education, justice, and also it needs to be safe, public transportation, safe to go outside. And also we need like equal pay. We need to reduce this gender gaps in jobs and salaries and all these kind of things. So this is like, I think, how women want to be represented in these kind of future cities. And in the other part of the slide, I took this screenshot from the United Nations webpage about, like I was myself surprised to see that half of the urban women and girls in developing countries, they live without an access to clean water, improved sanitation, sufficient living area, durable housing, which I believe is really like catastrophic. Like if we don't do an immediate action to reduce this and eliminate these kind of things, like what do we expect from the futures? So, but of course, like if we think from the other point, how to solve this kind of a dilemma, like since 100 years or maybe more, like to nowadays, like woman has achieved really a lot of things in their like equality and gender gap. But it's not like the reality is not sunshine and roses all the time. Like the reality sometimes is really challenging and hard, even if we are in modern countries, and maybe sometimes modern countries are not different than the developing ones. So that's important from my point of view, that we are women, we talk about our issues. We need to raise our voices and unity to make like a pressure group, let's say, or like whatever you call it. So to raise our voices, our issues, what we want to see in the future, what kind of a future I would like to leave behind for my kids and my daughters, and how can I be currently a role model for them, to lead them to, as Maija said, okay, we want more girls to study maths, but it doesn't come like this. Like we can't tell the girls go and study maths. I need to show them that Maija studied maths, and now she's a managing director in a male dominant field. So these kind of role models we need always to highlight, either to foreign women or like normal women. We all need role models in our life to point and see that this is the path where we are going to. And also, yeah, actually that's like just the main ideas. I'm just looking all the time to the time.
But I had a question to you, Rana.
Yes,
like,
tell me.
Now that you mentioned about people and people-centric development of future cities, and that's correct. Like we sometimes forget about social sustainability altogether when we are talking about sustainability. So how in Sweco then do you, merge these topics, that sustainability only doesn't mean talking about technology, innovation, and environment, but also about people and the social responsibilities?
Yeah, actually, that's a good and complicated question. Actually, it's not all about Sweco-centric as well. This is like the country-centric. Like this is, we need rules and investments from the government itself to promote these kind of social sustainability and the people-centric cities. So this is not only related to Sweco. Of course, we can present to our clients what kind of solutions that have been implemented in other countries and didn't work. So these, we can present these kind of things, but still like the government has to do something about it. For example, we had one, there is one a project in China. It not happened like this is, I read it somewhere, but it just like a case. It was like a complex of building that have been used like the best sustainable technologies, like a mock-up to test kind of principle they are testing. And it's about these like balconies filled with trees. And this is like from sustainability point of view, this is like perfect to reduce the energy, and it gives like natural air, and it's good. But when people lived in that complex, they couldn't stay there for more than 1 year, because these trees, like they have a lot of mosquitoes, so they need to add chemicals to kill the mosquitoes. It doesn't feel sustainable. And then these trees like hide the view from the windows. So you need more energy for lighting. And also like it will reduce the sunlight inside. So also it will affect the energy. So from a people point of view, this doesn't work. Like it looks nice outside, but you can't live there with having a mosquitoes all the time, for example, or turning the lights on all the time. So these kind of a thing. So this, if someone present this kind of ideas, okay, we can tell at Sweco that this is, sorry, it doesn't work as you want. But what I'm talking about is more about governmental role in these sustainable and future cities, like how the government, of course, like for example, you know that there should be like gender equality in all companies, and it is something really good and people like it and talk about it. But still, you won't force anyone to have the 50-50. If there is a law, for example, it will be 50-50. But if it's like optional, still you like to work with people whom you like, and maybe it won't work as we want. So this is my point of view to talk to the government and governmental roles for finding these kind of people-centric cities.
Yeah, and if I fill in something else in about this topic, I think it's also really important to have the diversity and, like I said, different backgrounds in a team when you are working in this kind of like city planning. In Sweco team and in also with client and construction team, I think we need to have more of a different views we can work with, not to be too blindsided or one-sided in a topic. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think this is a good point, actually. Like we are at Sweco as well, we can be a reflection to our cities. Like, okay, if you are calling diversity and you don't have diversity in the team who are designing, then okay, it's just a concept or a nice slide you have in your presentation. So yeah, of course, this is a good point, Maija. Thank you.
Yeah, and what else I think we should increase the knowledge of these sustainabilities, like starting from the 17 goals. I actually started my own study in this year. I decided that I will look into those UN sustainability goals and the sub-goals or targets, and try to understand how we can use these in our work and what should we do, and educate our own people and also our clients, because it's not that easy topic to get your hands on. It's easy to say that we should reduce pollution, but what should we do in this sort of project? What kind of decision we should make, and how we should measure that are we going in the right direction? And I think, like Rana said about equality and legislation or what was the word that you called?
Like gender pay, I said.
Legislation also, that we are talking in a construction market about how should we measure different kind of sustainability goals. Then we don't agree in how should we measure on that? We are on that level. So I think we have lots to do in this area. And it requires a lot of different people and different perspectives.
Yeah, and it's great that you opened up on that. Sorry, because that's actually something that I wanted to ask as well. Because there is now these groups and there is all these different elements, and it seems like it's quite complex indeed. And I like the example from Hannah from the China building that, you know, if you pick one battle, which may be the environment, then you might be losing on the other hand of the battle with well-being of the resident and these kind of things. So in that sense, you started answering partially the question already, but how are you building as a company, how are you building a framework around these, number one? And then number two, Could you give some examples of how you will be using the different people in the organization that come in with more diverse background in order to help you to build those frameworks and start answering the questions that need to be answered?
Yeah. Well, if I start about the framework, I think the biggest framework we are doing now, we are launching the sustainability goals for Sweco's own work. We have addressed on or make an agreement on that, and also we are addressing on the topic to educate our own people that what is our influence in a project. If we think about Sweco, our own actions, our offices and travels and things like that, they are much smaller than the effect that we can have on a project we are designing or planning or managing the project. And we should be able to provide knowledge on that. And one thing we have done, like I said, the Urban Insight, we dig into topics and we have experts on that, dig into topics and share the knowledge between Sweco countries from different projects. I think that's really useful, and we should do that even more. And have a platform to do that. And then we have the Sustainability Sun. It's like a tool to notice or get the targets for your own project. That how should we work? What does it mean when I'm designing this? If, for example, there have been talks about should we add a machine who takes all the heat that comes out of the buildings and reuse it. Yeah, that sounds really good. It's a sort of a investment, of course, but it will pay it back. But if we talk about the old buildings, what else we should do than just add the machine to take the heat reuse? We should also increase insulation. We should change windows and things like that. So when we are starting to look the holistic view on that, it really does. It's really not good business, and it's really not good for the sustainability. So I think that's like Rana said, we should have those kind of holistic views and assessments on these different actions to be able to see the whole picture.
Yeah, that's a good point, Maija. And also, like when I actually in my master thesis, I do some kind about new Sweco impact business. So it's also some kind of related to sustainability point of views. So I'm reading a lot of sustainability issue these days. I found something interesting that in some companies that they have a diversity report. Like every year you have financial report and you have sustainability reports, and they have a diversity report. Like diversity, of course, with all the dimensions. It doesn't mean like only man and woman. Like it means foreign, it means different backgrounds, it means like all the dimensions. So this is something really good, because if you just like talk about it without showing a number, like, okay, so diversity is a good thing, we like it, show it in numbers, this is really, it will catch attention. Okay, we have like, for example, a few women here, we need to work more to bring more women, more foreign, for example, like, or maybe like things like this. So I mean, these kind of trends that pressure the companies to do a real work on that. Like this is a really good trend actually to have a diversity report. Something fall down, sorry.
Yeah, and I have to admit that I think this is really useful for us in Sweco also to have this, to prepare this presentation and look more detailed at what are we actually doing about the diversity and to promote women and international people working in Sweco in Finland. We can start in Finland. We don't have that many foreigners right now. Rana is a good example. I think you are in a team that there are most people who are not originally from Finland, but still we sort of hit the wall quite many times if you don't speak Finnish, if you are not traditionally trained in Finnish university or Finnish schools. I think we should put more focus on that too. I think we should invest in Sweco in this kind of things. So this was really good, I think, starting point or boost for our own internal work.
Very
also.
good.
Yeah.
Actually, we can go forward, and then, because I have now this, when you said, Maija, about the inclusion aspect of that, so maybe we can take some questions on that later as well.
Yeah, maybe one question still I had in mind. So you were talking about just now about the having, you know, the same education, the same language, the same background, the same culture. And if we put the language topic aside, which I understand from a customer point of view can be a challenge, is it problematic as at the moment in the innovation process when you're going to offer new projects to your customers that same and the same aesthetics and so on? So is there also an added value? And Hannah, do you bring that to your work also? Because I know you have the foreign education, you did your master's degree in engineering actually in Palestine. And I think so, yes, or at least
the
abroad.
bachelor actually, the master is here, will be, but
yeah,
my
okay, the bachelor, sorry, was in Palestine. And you know, you have you're coming from a country where also the cultural aesthetic, architecture, everything is different. So is that also an asset now that you're bringing a difference to the projects, to the customers, and you can bring innovation also and new ideas rather than you trying to conform actually to the Finnish aesthetic? How does it work?
I will talk about it in a general level, like not related to Sweco, but like as a phenomenon, let's say, in all the companies. When you are hiring a foreign, like, of course, you are looking for a diverse way of thinking, like an extra hand, an extra brain you have. So basically, it doesn't happen always like this. Like you hire foreign, but you need also policies and some internal integration for these foreigners who are inside the company. So if I just like in my, not my company, like not me, but I mean, I'm talking a general level, like, so if you are a foreign in a company and there is no trainings, no career paths, nothing related to achieve your personal and career development, so you are just a number there. You are a number to do drafting work and normal kind of a work. And also you will be a burden on your company. Because like if you are a foreign, the chances that you get to move around is like not that as the native one. So you are a loyal employee in a term and also a raw resource because the company doesn't invest in you. So basically this is against like efficient work, lean, or whatever you call it. So from this point of view, the company must invest with the foreign people that are hired there, either to give like suitable projects. Of course, like nowadays, big companies, they have international projects and their local projects maybe then local people can do international projects. The international people
That's a good point too, because you have
so you can balance together. But like if you just in the company and do nothing, the company doesn't care, then you are really a burden on your company. And this is like, actually at Sweco, we have the career path for all employees. Where do you see yourself after 5 years and these like development discussions? Yeah, I have to say that still there is some work need to be done to bring the foreign or the foreign mindset to these career paths. So you have really something concrete where you can see yourself. Yeah, it's not, it's going on.
Or companies.
Yeah, exactly. It needs time and it needs people to talk about it, honestly, Caroline. Like, if
it needs to be open.
Silent, no one come and listen to you if you are silent. You need to talk and you need to give a constructive feedback, like address the problem and give solutions. It's not like being a negative Nancy, just be negative all the time and without solutions. This doesn't work. And someone might hear to you, someone not. But if you are silent, definitely no one will listen to you and your issue will die.
Yeah.
That's what
Speaking of hiring, sorry, Maija, if we can go very quickly on the recruitment side and then we start taking the questions. Priyanka, if you can give me a hint, how many questions do we have online? It's a lot or?
Well, we not so many yet, but we have some, I have some questions myself.
So let's go through the hiring process and questions after.
I'm not sure, do we have any vacancies listed in here? But the main policy is that, yes, we are hiring. We are totally, I think this is more like tips, but we are hiring. We are in a state in a construction market, on a consulting market, that we need good. And we have a policy that we will address all our vacancies in our website. So I think you should really go into the website to see. We are starting, I'm not sure is it already launched, but this is also a topic you will hear from here not right now, that we are also launching our summer job, our trainee programs open in here. There should be some English person also. I hope there should be. And like I said, like Rana said, the international project, we are already doing that quite a lot in Sweco. And I think we don't take full benefits from having a diverse project teams. So now on the vacancies, be brave. Put in the CVs and an application. I think you should, like Rana said, and like Caroline, you also agreed to raise your voice about this. But we have a lot of vacancies, so no list in here.
Good.
But mostly, like I said, we are mostly engineering backgrounds, but also in this one, be brave. Try if you are interested on some other topics. There are some other topics also than just plain engineering.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we have audience members that might have, daughters who are in the high school or thinking about what to study, from the sort of like job market point of view, do you think there is a good forecast for this kind of engineering jobs to continue and for having enough opportunities for develop?
I think there is. The fact is that more and more people are aging in our consultants business or in construction, or I can say construction market because it's quite the same base. The people, same resources we are fighting over. But there is people are retiring, and we are trying to replace them. And I also see it as a good opportunity to change the culture in construction business, to be a bit more open and a bit more sort of international also. I think that's really good way. So I would encourage, and it will also give, if you get the education of a Master of Science or whatever on engineering, I think you have a lot of opportunities in here also in leading or management position. I think that's good background to have also. I don't do engineering anymore. I actually never have done, but I'm managing the company, and sort of the technical minded and technical education that I have been given in a university, I think it helps a lot about dividing things and creating processes. And I think that's a really good base for also to be in management.
Got it. Yeah, and that's a good point, actually. Good. Should we go through the questions then, Priyanka, if we have any?
Yeah, definitely. We have at least one question which just came. What about the affordability of such sustainable projects? Are they costly?
Well, of course it depends. We have quite many real estate owners as a client, and of course the money is quite big thing when they are making decision on investments. But when they are sort of long-term owners, they want to keep the real estate and grow the profit from long term. I think they are understanding that they should maybe invest a bit more to get savings on the running the building.
Yeah, the return of investment will take longer time. Yes.
Exactly, but it's not actually always the case. It might be, if you're talking about sustainability as a design or planning, planning the cities, maybe it might be just good ideas. It might be that in a building we put stairs so that they are attractive. People want to walk, they don't want to use the lift. It might be that sort of a really small things. Or there's enough lighting and there isn't dark corners, so it feels safe to walk in the building or outside the building also. Yeah, it's more like a good ideas, I would say.
Yeah, but like for now, the sustainability or like the green buildings, let's say it's still optional. Like we don't have laws that it's a must that you have to design a green building. If there is a law that it's a must, then everyone will go green. Of course, like renting in a green building is more expensive than renting in a normal building, and it costs also more. But still, this is like the good for the future, like to be in a green building. So that's also one aspect, that we need laws that force everyone to go green.
Yeah, and I know that actually in the preparations there's a new law or update on a law about construction, and there is some preliminary talks that you should make an assessment about your climate impact in this project. So I think that's really good. I think that's really good. Even though we need to find good measuring for that, good measurements, so that it's going to be equal and comparable.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Then we have really, really interesting questions, and this is something which have been also asked a lot of times. But so this is from someone who works in tech, and they are also trying to increase the number of women, especially in the tech companies. And some people in the company, they say they find that this is unfair, pushing to hire more women rather than hiring for merit basis. So how do you respond to these voices that there is some skills that is hard to quantify, and also on the same time push for diversity?
Well, how should I say? I've been given a lot of opportunities in my career. I've all of my superiors have men, and they've been promoting me, and I think it has been beneficial for me sometimes, to be honest, to be a woman in a men's business sort of. I think I have stand out a bit more on there. I think but I'm okay with it, because I know that I bringing a lot more than the gender. So I think, well, I talk about this also with my husband.
How do you do
Is it really?
How do you just do it in Sweco? Like, if you showed the numbers that it is still so much male dominated. So if you are trying to have more female engineers, how do you push it? So maybe we can get some idea from there.
Yeah, we don't have the policy that we should we should have this amount of people, men or women, and we don't do that, because I think, of course we hire because of the merits and the competence. I think that's the most important thing. But still, what we do, we talk about it a lot. I think it's really important to be able to show that you have equal opportunities in here, and like we talked earlier, to keep the good examples out. That yes, it's totally okay to go upwards, and it's totally okay to combine your family work with your job. You don't have to choose. I'm example of that. My daughter was like 1 year old when I started in my managing director position, and I went to kindergarten every day at 4. I say that when I was starting in this position. I think we should also promote that. That you need to be able to be a leader or in a management position and have also your personal life.
But I guess in a way, sorry.
Sorry, I have one point to add for Maija's point of view. Actually, Maija was lucky to have like bosses around her to promote and give her a chance, and also to understand her insecurities as well. Because you know, when you are a woman and you are promoted to such high position, then you will always think, am I be able to take care of my family and work? We are mothers as well, and we have family, and this is always like you think of the family. It's a step bringing you back. So if you have a good boss, your boss will understand that and will try to like minimize your insecurities and support you as much as possible, so you can really move on. And also it's important that we have a group of women that they support each other, they understand each other, and they can talk freely about their issues. Like if I talk to Maija about my insecurities or my negative feelings or whatever, she will understand. She's a woman and she will understand that. And she will give me advices based on experience and things like this. So this is also something that we need to promote, this kind of a woman career development.
And educate the managers. I think we need to, that's a key. They need to understand that there are still, we tend to think that Finland is like most equal country in the world or something like that, but we still have lots to do in here. I think we need to promote this, and we need to keep it in talks and make the managers understand that they need to also have this in focus. Like that's really
but maybe
good.
If you allow me one comment to the question that was asked from the audience, because I'm also in construction industry and I'm also a woman. I think at the end of the day, the way to answer the people is not like, oh, we're taking women for the sake of taking women. We're taking women because our customers are women more and more.
Yes.
So we have more and more facility managers, property managers, building owners who are women. And also the customers of our customers are 50% women in the offices, in the residential, in the infrastructure, and so on. There is more and more women. So how can you, in that sense, as a service provider or project provider, give the right service to your customer and your customer's customers if you are only looking like one part of the population? So I think that's what I would tell this young lady who was asking the question, that this is the way usually I answer when someone challenges that. Your company needs to look like your customers. So of course, then you need to have more women.
Yeah, and you have a lot more, you have better company when you have diversity in the company.
Exactly.
You will develop more and you will have a lot of different insights. I think that's really important.
And I think this is proven in other companies. Like you can see like the top-notch companies in the world, they are diverse and they really restrict with the diversity issue and they are successful. So you are not bringing diversity as a burden to your company. It's tested and succeed somewhere else, then it will be at your company as well. So no excuses anymore.
As a part of like a lot of times when inclusion is done wrong, or like when you just put quotas on things without understanding your complete pipeline, your customers, this kind of unfair feeling comes within the company. And it's more like what Maija, you also said, like educating the managers and talking about the topic and creating this whole feeling of inclusion that will then not just attract more women with the talent and skills that are needed. I think so that's more important to look at. Hope we answered the question.
Yes. More questions, Priyanka?
Yeah, we have 2 more questions. I think one question is then as a woman, especially like you both are women in tech, in a male-dominated environment from different cultural backgrounds, has it, you mentioned that it has positively affected at times, but has it sometimes negatively affected your career development? And have you faced any such situations? And if you do, how do you manage, or how do you tackle it?
Yeah, that's a hard question. We have both me and Maija different experience with that. Like Maija is a native and she speaks Finnish and she is like from here. She looks like the people. So I think her story is different than mine. Yeah. Actually, I'm the foreign. I don't speak fluent Finnish. I used to, but not anymore. I don't. So that's a mistake. Different background and I'm like a totally different than everyone else. So yeah, I have to say this was difficult for me, really challenging. Like it's not because I don't feel myself capable. No, of course I'm capable and I can think, I can do everything is wanted from me. But sometimes it's hard because people, they have their own judgments, they have their own stereotyping and their own negative thought about anyone. And some people even, they don't accept the difference. Like it just no, and that's it. So that's the problem. Yes, for myself, yeah, this is like, it's always an obstacle. Maybe people now are more open-minded. 15 years ago when I came to Finland, yeah, it was really hard. But now like, easier. Yeah, it's easier. People are more open and they talk about issues and they are willing actually to change, which is like good thing.
Yeah, but I think like Rana said, I think we have a bit different experience on this one. But I actually posted, I'm learning my sustainability goals, like I said, and I posted today about the goal number 5, equality, gender equality. And I was a bit scared. And what would I say? Because I feel that I've been privileged, I've been given good opportunities, but still I have to admit that in university when I was studying, I felt that I was in a bubble, equality bubble. I was with good friends, with my study colleagues. I have never experienced any bad experience in a university, even though media has right now say that there has been difficulties in technical university. I never experienced on that. And when I came to work, most of my colleagues have been treating me very equally. But I have to say that my eyes have been opening a bit as working 20 years in a male-dominant business. I feel still that in some cases you are a bit or a bit of odd, and maybe you need to prove yourself a bit more when you are a woman in, especially in management position. Sometimes I felt that people are surprised if I say something really intelligent or even not that intelligent. The expectations might be a bit lower, and in some cases, I feel that I need to put in some kind of bit of almost role. I think it might be in my own head, but I feel that I need to put into some role to be a manager or director, not to be relaxed and laughing a lot. That is my personality. So I don't know, it might be in my head, but I think there is a difference.
I don't think so there is in your head, but there is quite a lot of challenges that happen. And
yes.
From my own experience, I have been also, and I am an engineer, and I have been working in the tech industry. And how I like if to answer the question, like how do you tackle it, for me it has always been speaking out loud, like speaking up about the challenges or not making it normal, so that if you kind of make that this is the way it is, or this is how this is a normal situation, it's gonna harm even other women who are coming after me. Or so I think for me that really helps to just be vocal about the issues.
Good. Hey, I think we're coming to the top of the hour, so maybe the last
we have one just last question, so we can just end with this one, and this is about Sweco, like how Sweco work with the government or public sectors in terms of making policy, establishing regulations related to sustainability matters. So how are you influencing the whole ecosystem?
Yeah, we have quite a lot of clients from the public sector, and of course we are working in the project for them, building new railways or metros or whatever, but we are also part of the planning phase or the preliminary studies, what kind of impacts in the environment we are having. But if you are referring to legislation or things like that, we are doing expert consultings on that one. We are not lobbying, if it's what is looking at. We are this and solution. I think that's
great, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. It was really nice to have you. We had, of course, the city as a topic, but also then your perspective as women being in engineering and a little bit still male-dominated environment. So I think this was very good and open and honest discussion. So I really want to thank you for that, and thank you for our audience also for the great questions. And this wraps up then our episode 5 of the IWWOF Talks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Thanks a lot. Bye.